Melanin, what makes black people black. The scientific literature has very few objective facts, and many science principles and rules are subjective fairy tale stories called theory. All theories are unproven and unscientific. The objective facts are that black people are a race that has the highest amount of the biochemical pigment called melanin. Melanin is a civilizing chemical, reproduces itself. A free radical protector, can be transformed in the blood, concentrates nerve and brain information, neutralizes, oxidizes, converts substances, reduces another substance, and is unchanged by radiation and high temperatures. Melanin is inside and outside the body. The more melanin a race has, the more humane and civilized the race. Science myths have clouded and avoided the true information about melanin and the pineal gland that secretes melanin. Melanin is the vital chemical that makes life itself. It is usually brown to black in color. Melanin is a flexible like plastic, can resemble a cloud, gas, wood, metal, or liquid, and takes on many forms without losing its structure. It is heat resistant, can endure temperatures of 1225 degrees Fahrenheit, has a pleasant odor, resists X-ray diffraction, resists strong acids and alkaline, etc. Melanin is found in the environment, springs, lakes, soil, plants, atmosphere, and animals. The pituitary gland, which is a gland in the middle of the brain that secretes growth hormones, has been erroneously called the master gland. However, the pineal gland, which is also in the middle of the brain, is the true master gland. The pineal gland secretes melanin, which regulates all bodily functions and glands in the body. Melanin is a biochemical that has a high molecular weight. This means it has many functions and links like a chain that contains carbon, nitrogen, ether, saturated carbon-carbon, unsaturated carbon-carbon, organometallic peroxides, and is essentially a black carbon hydroamine. These various links allows melanin to be a polymer and polycyclic and have a unique property and flexible chemical ability. Melanin is made up by cells called melanocytes. Inside the melanocytes are smaller organs called melanosome, which make melanin. Inside the endoplasmic reticulum, the melanosomes are made. In other words, small cells build bigger cells build larger cells, and the end product of all the building from a small particle into a larger particle is the chemical melanin.
Good morning, Africans. Good evening and good afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. Shalom. I hope you're doing fine where you are, and forgive me for the birds. Yeah, the geese sometimes can be so loud for no reason, but I love them. Let's talk about science, the black science. We have different races. We have the Negro, we have the Caucasian, and then we have the Mongoloids. This classification is based on what was given by Charles Darwin, is what I normally like using, because the Negroes are people who have black skin, the Caucasians, people from the Caucasus Mountains, the white people, and then the Mongoloids are the Asians. You understand? These people have variations in their skin color. You know, we find that Caucasians have very light skin, the Asians close to white but not white, and then the black people who are the Negroids, of course, they're having a black skin, a dark skin. It's a very few people who have black skin. Very few. Almost, it's a handful of people who have a black skin. Now, what brings about all this? What brings about we having a black skin, that person having a light skin, another person having close to a yellow skin? It's caused by a chemical component that is found within our skin. If you look at my skin, I am black. Yeah, I'm black, but I'm not black like this cup. You can see the contrast between the two, but I'm black. Yeah. I am black because of melanin. You know, the higher the melanin concentration, the darker your skin becomes. The lower the melanin concentration, the lighter your skin becomes. That's the science. So melanin is a chemical component that is found in our bodies, and it protects us from the UV light, ultraviolet light that comes from the sun. You know, some of the light that comes from the sun is not visible to the human eye, and some of these might be harmful. You know, some of them fall on the infrared, and some of them fall past the visible light into the UV light, and this UV light can sometimes be dangerous to human beings and can sometimes lead to what we call a skin cancer, lupus, which is also a skin problem, if you understand this. People who are living, black people who are living in the tropical areas where we normally found ourselves as black people, we live along the tropical areas, and the earth is bulge. It's bulge. It's not a perfect sphere. It's like compressed, and yeah, it's these sides, but on top it's flat. It's flat to make sure it goes round and it goes this way. So these people who are living along the center, along the bulge, have a darker complexion. Mostly in Africa, we are black, and so we are black because we receive a lot of light hit us directly. You know, we face it directly because we are so much exposed. So having a higher melanin concentration is a safety mechanism that we developed, or rather the right way to say this is God made us black because we wouldn't have survived if we weren't black. Now there's a doctor who is the late Dr. Laila Afrika. Dr. Laila Afrika has a different opinion on this, and I want us to listen to him, and then I shall give you my thoughts by the end of the video, where also we shall have a deep critical analysis. Let's dive in.
This evening we're going to talk about something called melanin. It's what everyone is concerned about in the world. It's what they have a meeting about every 3 to 5 years. Germany, Italy, France, the U.S., they meet every 3 to 5 years and have a melanin convention and discuss the latest research in melanin. They have never invited a black scientist to that meeting in history. So we have had our own melanin conferences where we discuss this information involving melanin. Melanin is commonly associated with the pigment that causes your skin to be brown. So we figure that that's what melanin is about. But it's a little more than just the pigment that makes your skin brown. It's what we call a chemical key to life. The more melanin you have, the more civilized you are. The more melanin you have, the more psychic you are. The more melanin you have, the more information your brain can store. The more melanin you have, the faster the nerve transmissions are. The more melanin you have, the more sound you absorb in your ear, so you hear the full range of sound. No other race can do that. The more melanin you have, the more color you can absorb in your eyes. That's why your eyes are brown. You actually see the full color. You see this color, where white folks see a paler tan, because the more melanin you have, the more you can see what God has meant for you to see. The more melanin you have in your taste buds, the more you can taste the full flavor of the food. No other race can taste an apple like you can, because they can't absorb the full flavor, because you need melanin to absorb the full flavor of food. That's why we combine food differently from other races, because we actually can taste the food. That's because of the high amount of melanin we have, which we sometimes take for granted. Melanin is the chemical key to life. There is nothing else to study in science but melanin. We call it chemi, which means black. The people who study melanin particles call what they're studying, the sciences call chemistry, what you call chemistry, the study of melanin particles. that go around in an orbit, and we call them electrons, protons, solitons. Those are melanin particles. That's why we call it chemistry. And the country you come from is called Kemet, which some people call Egypt. There's nothing else to study but melanin. And if you study chemistry or heard of chemistry and haven't heard the word melanin, you have just been studying social science. You go into a classroom and you call it biology, but biology is the way melanin controls the cell. And we call that little melanin sitting in the cell the new sun, the nucleus. The new sun radiates information and tells the cell how to operate, how to think, how to digest. That's melanin. Biology is the study of melanin and how it communicates. There's nothing else to study if you're going into the living sciences. Melanin plays a part in your historical memory. The more melanin you have, the more you're connected to your ancestors. You can pull on thoughts that you didn't even know were there because melanin gives you ancestral memory. That's based on melanin. That's how we classify races, based on their melanin content. It's not the quality of melanin in your skin we're talking about. Doesn't mean a light-skinned brother is less black than you are. We're talking about the melanins produced inside their body by the pineal gland. That's the melanin we measure. Every living thing has to have melanin. White people have it, but they have a lesser amount. And their melanin is different from your melanin. Their melanin has sulfur in the middle, and your melanin has selenium in the middle. There are two different types of melanin that could not biologically come down the same tree. That's physiologically impossible for a white person to evolve from a black person. It's two different melanins. That's why every scientist says the theory of evolution. We never say it's a fact. Never. We say it's the theory of evolution. It's not a fact. Theories are something you need to just get through the day. I have a theory that I'm going to be a millionaire. It helps me get through a day. But I don't know. I know it's not real. It's just a theory. And we use theories just to get through information in science. It just helps us to focus stuff. But we know they're not facts. So we never say the fact of evolution. It's a theory. It helps us focus our information, get through some research. That's all. And when we finish with the theory, we throw it away. But you pick it up and think it's a real thing. This is really a fact. No, it is not. Just stuff we make up to get through the day, keep us focused. The theory of evolution, the theory of the speed of light, the theory of gravity, the theory of this and that. They're all theories. Can't prove none of it. Theories. Let me say, you know many of them, but you know few facts. And we're talking about the fact of melanin. We're not talking about theories right now. We know more about theories about science than we know about science. We say a theory. What comes around goes around. That's a theory. What goes up must come down. That light's up there. Why don't it fall down on the ground? You say what goes up must come down. Why don't that light fall down? What are you talking about? What goes up doesn't have to come down.
Now, guys, that was Dr. Laila Africa. He has been now rest in power. Dr. Laila, rest in power. He's a man who has, we have a few of such people in this world. So few. They are gifts that are sent to God by God to black people. They are gifts that are sent to the earth by God for the humanity. Some people's lives are just there to make other people's lives better. The oppression that black have faced, the segregation, the being told that you ain't enough because you are inferior, when instead it is us who are superior chemically, biologically, physically, physiologically, psychologically. Think of it. Because we have an advantage. Because we have an advantage of having the melanin. The melanin helps us to adapt more to life. The melanin helps us to connect better to the environment. The melanin helps us to, as the doctor said, as the Dr. Imhotep, having higher melanin means you are highly civilized, which means that if you have lesser melanin, you are less civilized, right? If you are having higher melanin, you have a lot of physical advantages. It means that if you have less of it, it's the other way around. But that is not what we are told. We are told that people who are having a darker skin are closer to monkeys, and we are weak. When there's an African American, he's actually a professor or a doctor. He has a doctorate degree. He said this. This one was Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. He said that actually black people are not closer to monkeys. It is the other people who are closer to monkeys because of the similarities. He pointed out the hair, he pointed out the ears, he pointed out the thin lips, he pointed out the hairiness, he pointed out the brown skin. Because if you come and you pluck those hair from the monkey, what is it that is left underneath? You go and try and you see, and then you will tell me what it is. Many times we've been told, even myself, I've always asked myself, oh my, why is it that we are so dark? Why is it that we have this skin color? You know, the narrative that Mzungu is better than you. Here in Africa, it's worse. It's worse. Even if an African man is walking around the street and is light-skinned, children mostly will call him a Mzungu. Some other adults who don't have correct exposure will also call them a Mzungu. You know, this is not an albino, no. Having a lighter skin, people will treat you better. Even here in Africa, we see our ladies bleaching. The jobs are seeking white women, you know, not white but light-skinned women. You go to shops, you go to these shops, you must find a light-skinned girl being the one who is to serve you at the reception. You find a light-skinned woman who is the one to sell you things, or rather he's the one to advertise, because they know that if you see that light skin, you're likely to buy because it will attract your eye. Now this leaves, what happens to the other ladies? What happens to these other sisters? How do we let them be? Do they just stay there and they get nothing because they are not light skinned? Why is that? Why is it that our men also prefer having light skin as a status? Yeah, many men in Africa, I'll speak for Kenya. You know, having a light-skinned woman is a form of status. You know, people will praise you, this and that. But what they have is just light skin. Yep, nothing else. So, me, I'm always saying this: you are black, you're having a light skin, you are who you are. You are who you are, and there's nobody who is greater than you, and you are greater than no one. You are equal. You know, that person who has a light skin naturally, because we also have those people who bleach to have those to access the advantages that comes with having a light skin privileges. That one now is not a good thing to do, because you are changing the whole makeup God gave you. But those people who are light skinned naturally, you are good, you are great, but you are greater than no one, and nobody is greater than you. You understand? If you have a dark skin, you are great, really great. Nobody is greater than you, and you are greater than no one. That is how God put it, you know. But having a higher melanin is meaning you have a higher life advantage. Melanin is the chemical of life. Melanin is connected to the ancient Egyptian study of chemistry. You know, the doctor said that chemistry has the root word Kemet. The root word for chemistry is Kemet. And Kemet is a place in Egypt, or rather is the entire Egypt. The civilization that was there in Egypt was not those Arabs you see them over there. Those Arabs were coming from Asia when they crossed. But the civilization we had there was black. And these black are the ones who are called the Kemetians, or the Kemets. I possibly believe that they are the ones who came together and maybe they collaborated with some unknown technology or unknown intelligence to create those pyramids we have, because those pyramids are hell of mathematics, those complex mathematics, you know, the ones like the ones like the degree of Tesla. If you know Nikola Tesla, he was very smart. This guy was so much intelligent, and he exposed the secrets of the pyramids and the secrets of free energy. Where are these pyramids found? Are found in Africa. And who are these Africans who are living there? The Kemets. What's the color of the Kemets? Blacks. And what did the doctor say about black? The more blackness you have, the more melanin, which means the more blackness, the more smarter you are. Where else in the world do we have pyramids? I don't know. I've never seen. I only see pyramids in Gaza. I only see pyramids in Egypt, ancient Kemet or Misri. Yep. That is how much black people are great. But the West just twist, they twist things to make us look bad and make them feel better. Yeah. I hope by this video you've gotten some quite exposure. You've learned one or two things that you need to know. And kindly subscribe to the channel. If you like what I do, subscribe. I will surely appreciate. And of course, see you in the next one. Stay black.